back. Let's talk PDP politics. We spoke about it yesterday, but this time it has to do with the South region of the country. I'm being joined in the program by Mr. George Turner. He's the PDP South Zonal Secretary. He joins us via Zoom, as well as Bishop Etimante. He's the immediate past PDP South Publicity Secretary. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the program, and I appreciate your patience.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Good evening, Nigerians.
All right, let me start with you, Mr. Turner. I want your reaction, literally your immediate reaction as to what played out. I know that the tenure of the zonal officers has ended, I think on the 6th of March, and then there was a Congress held, and I think Mr. Danobi was re-elected, as well as yourself was in that ESCO, and we saw top political officers as well, including the FCT minister. But a few days ago, we saw that the chairman, acting chairman, national chairman of the party, did not recognize our Congress and has actually set up a caretaker committee in the zone. How is your camp receiving this? Mr. Turner, that's for you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. As you rightly noted, there was a zonal congress for the PDP, which held in Calabar on the 22nd of February this year, where, as you rightly noted, of course, Chief Danobi was re-elected, and myself as secretary of the zone. Now, there is no vacancy. What the national chairman did by inaugurating a caretaker committee is completely unlawful and illegal. There cannot be a caretaker where there is no vacancy. Or is it a fact that a Congress did hold in Calabar, Cross Rivers? Yes. Is it a fact that there could be some disagreements between the zonal leadership and the national leadership as to all about the conduct of that Congress? Yes. You know, is it a fact that Chief Danobi is re-elected and is in office as of today? Yes. Now, these issues have found their way, you know, before a competent court of law, you know, and they are now sub judice. So one would have expected that a party, you know, like PDP, which of course founded the rule of law, will now allow the judicial system, you know, to resolve the disputes. Even the Nigerian state and the federating units, you know, the states of the federation, can disagree.
So let me ask you, Mr. Turner, before I go to Mr. Bishop Ante, the bone of contention, if I understand very well, has to do with who conducts zonal Congress election. How does it work within the party, the PDP, according to your constitution? And that's the same question I'll ask Mr. Ante.
Thank you very much. Now, it takes a process. First is that the guideline has to be approved, you know, by NEC. The guideline for the conduct of elections has to be approved by NEC. Now, a guideline was approved, and the national communicated the zonal chairman by a document signed by the national organizing secretary of the party to say that, look, NEC have approved guidelines for the conduct of 2025 congresses for South Zone. And you are now directed by the relevant provisions of the Constitution to now take up the processes of conducting a free, credible, and transparent election. Now, based on that document, the Constitution now is that Article 27 clearly states that the Zonal Executive Committee is vested with the powers to convey Congress. Now, Article 28 gives the power to elect new officers of the Zonal Working Committee to the Congress. You now convey this executive committee that has the power to fix Congress
All
for
right.
the purpose of election.
Mr. Turner.
The Constitution is very clear. I'm coming, sir.
No.
The Constitution is very clear that it is at the instance of the National Vice Chairman who called for the Zonal Executive Committee. That was what we did.
All right, let's take it to Bishop. Just you've landed on your thought. Let's take it to Bishop. What's your take? Because this is the bone of contention, from what I understand, as to who conducts the zonal congress of any zone. Because the National Working Committee is no longer recognizing that zonal congress, has now set up a caretaker committee led by Mr. Emmanuel Ogidi. So, when it comes to the Constitution, from where you sit, what does your Constitution say, and what was wrong here that they did that was would I call it to overwrite? The NWC actually just decided, I'm trying to be careful with my words, decided to set up a caretaker committee instead of recognizing the Congress that held. Mr. Bishop.
Thank you very much. The issue, or there are fundamental issues as far as political parties are concerned and the management thereof. I want to thank my brother, Dr. Turner, because this crisis started in our zonal working committee meeting of the 30th January. And I am happy that my friend, the outgoing legal advisor of the party, Dr. Turner, in the Zoom, warned the zonal working committee to tread with caution the issues of acting the bull in the China shop, the issues of hijacking a party, having conflict with the governors. Because we noted that it was having conflict with the governors in Edo State that caused us to temporarily lost Edo State to another party. And it was that same crisis in Cross River State. So leaving 4 states for PDP. So he, the outgoing legal advisor, Mr. George Turner, warned against having issues with governors, that we should carry governors along as leaders of the party in the Zoom. Therefore, the crux of the matter is that the meeting, the zonal working committee meeting in Benin was not properly constituted. Because it is the zonal working committee that has the right to approve, to fix a zonal executive committee, which will not give birth to a valid Congress. So there was no quorum. 6 members out of 10 cannot be 2/3 majority. The calculation is very wrong. The foundation is very poor, faulty, and you cannot put anything or something on anything and expect it to stand. That's the position of the law. You cannot put something on nothing and expect this to stand. So the foundation of forming or fixing of the zonal executive committee was faulty. So everything that was put subsumed on top of that foundation must fall and must fail.
Okay.
So to that extent, we have to be very, very careful in interpreting the Constitution.
All right, let me take it to Mr. Turner. Mr. Turner, I would like you to respond to the background is given as to what was built on what made it a faulty ground that allowed the NWC to not to recognize the Congress that held in Calabar. But in addition to what he said, you know, if you read most of the Supreme Court judgment, which I like to read because it's a final court, you always see that issues around political parties should stay within political parties. Most of the time, that is the premise of the court. Whether it's membership or leadership, they were quite express in some of those things. But of course, politicians always go to court, no matter what, to test the law within their own unique situation. So now that the NWC has spoken, where does that leave your committee? And that's my question as you respond to some of the things you said.
I want to thank Channels Television, because for the first time since this crisis started, Nigerians will have the opportunity of now knowing the true facts as they were, and then how wrongly some of the gladiators on the other side have, carried on. Now, my friend Bishop said that the crux of the problem is that the zonal executive committee meeting, which had in Calabar, in Benin, was not properly convened, in the sense that the Constitution had provided that it is the zonal working committee that should have approved the convening of that meeting. Now, that is not correct. I have the Constitution of the party here, and I will just read Article 27. Article 27 establishes the zonal executive committee. Now, Article 27.2 states, Article 27.3 states the meetings, how zonal executive committee meeting shall be convened. And he reads thus: the zonal executive committee shall meet not less than once in every quarter at the instance of the national vice chairman. At the instance of the national vice chairman. There is no role the zonal working committee in convening meetings of the executive committee. So they have been basking, it is a wrong notion that they have, that it is the zonal executive committee that should convene the zonal working committee.
Mr. Turner, just because of time, my apologies. I want you to, I'm happy you're a lawyer. I want to read to you the functions of the zonal executive committee.
Thank you.
Harmonize, coordinate, and review all activities of the party within the zone, establish ad hoc and standing committees, prepare agenda for and summon meetings of the zonal congress, prepare reports and budget for the consideration of the zonal congress, and carry out other functions assigned to it by the National Executive Committee. Nothing here says that the zonal committee shall conduct an election.
Now, thank you very much. Now, if you look at 2C that you read, the function, prepare agenda for and summon meetings of the zonal congress.
The key word I'm looking for is election. Mr. Turner, the key word I'm looking for is election.
Now, can you go to Article 28, which is now the zonal congress? Having summoned the meeting of the zonal congress, what should the zonal congress do? Go to the function, Article 28, sub 2, functions of the zonal congress, that the zonal executive committee has powers to convene. He said the function of the zonal congress shall be to A, approve the budget of the party in the zone, and B, elect officers of the zonal working committee. That is the function of the zonal congress. Officers.
All right, Mr. Turner, I think you've had your own time. Let me go to Mr. Bishop. I would like you to react. I needed to look at the law. So,
thank you very much.
Mr. Bishop, Bishop, please respond to some of the things that. No, Mr. Turner, leave Mr. Bishop to respond.
Yes, thank you very much. I am happy that Judge Turner was making reference to a guideline that was issued by the NEC. Because he has now provided a nexus between the zone and the NEC vis-a-vis the conduct of the Congress. Now, if the Nigerian must know that the NEC that approved the guideline, that brought out the guidelines directing the zone for a Congress to be conducted through the guidelines, the same NEC having seen that the leadership of the party in the zone were operating or acting the bull in the China shop by sidelining governors and creating confusion. So the same day, upon our outcry, upon our petition to the NEC, now gave directive that the Congress should not be held. And to that extent, he who plays the Papa dictates the truth. The NEC that link up with the zone by setting up the structure of this meeting of the Congress is telling the zone not to hold the very Congress because of the shenanigans created by the leadership of the party at the zonal level. So going against this directive is a serious aberration. And any action taken there is inconsequential, null and void, ab initio. So I am happy that my brother made that proposition. Why should you, at the first instance, admit the guidelines brought out by the NEC? And when there was problem, when certain persons were trying to hijack the structure of the party without carrying along strategic stakeholders, and in order to avoid crisis of unprecedented dimension, the same now directed that the Congress be halted after proper consultation before we move forward. So that is also the major crisis, because even the zoning, we are talking about the South-South geopolitical zone that has 3 major blocks. We have the Edo Delta block that have produced 3 or 4 zonal chairmen of the zone. We are talking about Rivers Bayelsa, and Bayelsa has never produced the chairman. We are also talking about Akwa Ibom Cross River, which has only produced only 1 chairman, because the governors met and provided direction that the zonal chairman should move from the Edo Delta block that have produced 4 zonal chairmen, that it should be moved to Bayelsa Rivers block.
Okay.
Bayelsa has never produced the chairman. So these are the issues.
All right, I must thank you both. Apparently, the argument here seems to be about who should organize this Congress. Whether when the Constitution in that article says elect officers, it meant organize election. But I wish we had time to explore all of that. I must thank you both, because it's an ongoing conversation. And I know that the end of this year is fixed, I think, April the 12th for Congress. We don't know how that's going to play out. But, gentlemen, wish the PDP the very best. George Turner, PDP's House Zonal Secretary, Bishop Etiman, immediate past PDP South Zonal Publicity Secretary. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on the program.